Today, we're going to take the guesswork out of marble. Yo, dog, Kenny Boucher here. Next level painting, hitting you up on the literal best of all days. Here in the Beats Lab in Hollywood, California, it's Friday. Today, we're going to be working on marble. This is the literal first time we've ever done it. I actually had to scour the webs, talk to some people, call the monk at the top of the mountain so I can figure out how to actually do this. And then take my findings and present them to you guys in a studio tutorial. Quick shout out to Twitch. If you guys don't know what Twitch is, it is the live videos, and we will be taking this base to the next level on Twitch live. You're not going to want to miss it. Quick shout out to some of my patrons, some of my supporters over on my personal crowdfunding page. We got my man Jared, William, John, my man Stuart, Jade, John, Hunter, my man Sandy, and Raymond. Thank you guys. You came in clutch this week. Patreon is how I keep the lights on. Thank you. And of course, check out the longwar.net, the home of the battle reports and all your 8th edition coverage. Let's do this thing, guys. Underbelly Blue, P3 formula. This is a privateer press paint, one of my favorite companies, and now a sponsor at Next Level Painting. We're going to be working on this marble base from a man, Ixion Hale, the Legio Custodes Tribune. He's got that fresh pimp marble base. So what we're going to be exploring today is the secretly easy techniques behind marble. We're going to be going after a very stark white, clean marble finish. We're not a geologist, which I believe is the technical term for marble scientists, but we are going to try to capture the effects of marble here. Now, this is easily one of my first times ever approaching this technique. I did a little bit of research, watched a few videos, looked at some pictures of some marble, came up with a technique on the fly that I think would work, utilizing our airbrush and our paintbrush. Okay, so we got that nice underbelly blue down. We're gonna go right to Brain Matter Beige, one of my favorite colors from the Army Painter. This is an off-white. We love using this. We're gonna use it instead of white to highlight the flat regions of these stairs. Give it a good look here, very natural look. It's a little on the warm side. And these are gonna be fun colors to be working with, because it seems totally permissible to let some of these types of colors intermix. So just focus on very thin coats, guys. Multiple thin coats, very transparent. We've got a lot of airbrush flow improver in the pot. We're going 99% air, 1% paint. We're just focusing on some of the bigger, flatter regions where the light might be shining down on the top of the marble. We're gonna go back to air, back to paint. If you guys been watching on Twitch, I talk a lot about the air paint ratio. Definitely check us out live for more intel, more Q&A, way more interactive, guys. We're getting to a good place here, and we're about ready to start bringing out some detail in some of these cracks, some of these broken sections here of the marble. We're going to be switching gears. Secret weapon miniature paints. Here we go. Engine grime dark wood. This is a cool and a warm color. We're going to kind of use them together, create a little bit of a gangster glaze, aka wash maybe, and we're going to just slide it into these broken regions. Give us some nice definition. It's going to be pretty aggressive right now, but don't worry, later we're going to come back with a dry brush. It's going to be fine, guys. I know it's scary to look at right now, but I promise you it's going to be fine. We're using a little bit of Vallejo flow improver, one of the products we use here a lot. We use a little bit of that mixed in with a little water to create a little bit of a glaze medium for this thinning, I guess, of the paints. So that way it wouldn't be super without pigment. Like if you water down paint just too much, it's not that great. So you can always use a medium, but that's what I'm talking about. Vallejo flow improver doesn't play games. So we're using it right here, getting it into those little crevices, those little cracks, those little holes, doing our best. Solid contrast so far. Obviously, got those cracks on the base, everything. Now those two flat stairs that have almost no detail, he covers most of that, but we're still gonna dry brush it. So here we go, dry brush, pure white, any white will do. And we're gonna aggressively dry brush these edges, catch the ridges, and you see it immediately worked out some of the aggressiveness in that wash that we just created. Super fast. And we're gonna apply this to the base, to all the spires, to everything. We're literally gonna just hit everything with it, catch all the ridges. Let it be streaky. If it, we are drying it off a lot, but we're going on aggressive, and it doesn't matter if you get some streaks because that works for marble. So we're definitely trying to just create a new interesting look. This is the only white we're going to use. We're not going to put it in our airbrush or anything. We're just going to catch the ridges with a good old-fashioned dry brush. Secretly easy techniques to painting marble right here. And the final step, the landing off of these two stairs, that's just a raw dog base from GW, guys. You can see that has a bit of a texture to it. But we're going to paint it all marble today. Pretty easy. Pretty good starting place so far, as you can see here. Solid, cool colors. A little bit of warm colors to offset it. Feeling pretty good about that. So what we're going to do here is switch gears yet again, guys. And we're about to go hard in the paint, if I can say that, if I'm allowed to pun around here. We're going to use some rubber from Secret Web Miniatures. We're going to mix that in with some war paint mixing medium from the Army Painter. Now you can use any medium, but actually they make a great medium, and I find it works for a lot of different paints, not just their own mix. So what we're doing is making a very thin rubber here out of that Secret Weapon rubber. We're making it super thin with that medium, and we're drawing very huge and exaggerated lightning bolts. These are the veins, the technical term, I guess, science, whatever. These are the veins of the marble, and I'm just approaching it like how I would do a lightning effect, but a lot shittier. So what we're doing is huge, broad, fat lines, because marble doesn't actually transition. It doesn't fuzz out. It's like kind of smudgy. It's weird. So I did a lot of research, looked at a lot of pictures, and this is what I came up with. Now I did notice that some of the canvas painters are using an effect called softening with their brush over their canvas to soften this with a little bit of, rapid fire brush strokes. I've seen Bob Ross do it. So we're going to use the non-canvas technique for that here. So don't worry, these are super aggressive, and some people will let this ride, but I like to soften things up a little bit more. It's all going to have a purpose. Even though it looks like hot shit right now, I promise you. Well, I'm going to save it. We're going to Bob Ross this in 5 seconds. So the important thing is that this is very thin. It's streaky. Nothing wrong with it. Marble actually does this. So this is a fun color right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start intensifying it as we go. But for now, we're just taking a look at it, deciding where we want to put our strokes. We're being deliberate. We're not just random. We're actually thinking about it as we go. I'm looking at a picture of marble actually and just trying to see how things interact. And they all kind of go the same direction is what I noticed. So we're trying to keep everything in this horizontal fashion right here, as you can see, to the stairs. All right. I feel like we may have done it, but we still got to hit that rail, guys. So boom, there it is. Rail. Let's catch it a little bit more. It's all marble. It's really easy to overlook the rail. See, and I'm just real aggressive. I don't even care. I'm letting it do what it do, just dropping some streaks on it. It looks so bad. This is the first time I'm looking at this video since I made it. We're adding a few more strokes, more aggressive, even broader. Check it out. We're just getting so aggressive with it. Look at that. God, it's awful. Okay, we're going to grab that brain matter beige we used earlier. And now we're going to soften the effect. We're going to run it down super thin, a lot of Vallejo flow improver, a little bit of water. We're going to go real thin and translucent here. And we're going to fuzz out everything we just did. It should keep most of our dry brushing intact, most of our transitions intact, because it's so thin. We're going to do a couple thin coats, real thin, blow dryer, real quick on the secondary thin coat. Real easy, guys. You don't need to use a blow dryer. You can actually just let it dry naturally if you want. So watch this. Just softens the effect. Boom, look at that. Now we're focusing down on the rail, dropping a little bit more beige on it, making it look its best. That's simple. Okay, now let's grab that rubber again that we used. We're also going to dip deep into the engine grime and the dark wood. We're going to be using warm colors and cool colors, and we're going to just start pulling from our palette. And we're going to treat this just like lightning. And we're going to now kind of go center to those big broad lines. And we're going to be using rubber. We're going to be using engine grime, dark wood. We're going to go crazy. We're going to make sure there's a good mix of these browns on the warm side and these grays on the cool side. And it gives it that natural organic feel, because not every vein is exactly the same color, I've noticed. So we are definitely making our own comic book marble here, like very white, very clean, very pristine, but we are absolutely mimicking it after some actual research. It's the best advice I can give anyone. So see, we're just focusing on what we've already done with those big, broad, soft lines now. And it's crazy because that's what marble does. Marble is like, looks like a paint stain, like the big broad stroke around the smaller veins. It's super interesting. So it's actually pretty fun. We're just tracing very slow, creating those forks in the the veins. And then once we get a good baseline established, we can absolutely switch gears, start introducing some of the warmer colors, and just start narrowing the focus as we go. But you see there's a huge difference between this and lightning. Lightning, we would have used the airbrush to create those big fuzzy blurring regions. We wouldn't have done it with our paintbrush and have them look like just hot garbage paint streaks. But for some reason, that's how marble do. Feeling it? Real soft touch here, guys. I'm coming on with a very light touch, loading the bristles up just a little bit, letting it streak out. You see what's happening here. We're getting nice fine feathered tails as we go, connecting the forks of these veins. We're being deliberate. Every stroke we make is a conscious decision, guys. You don't just go crazy here. Look at these streaks we've already established. Try to stick as close to the center of them as you can. You can see it's already beginning to look like marble. Absolutely. There's a big one up here. Look at its best. Got multiple forks streaking out of this one region. We got to focus down on all of them. Slowly build them up. Be patient, methodical. There it is. Starting to get the effect we're going for. Now, obviously, that handrail up top, we're going to have to approach that a little bit more methodically because it's a little round piece. But I think we're doing a good job here. Like I said, this is probably, in my mind, in my memory, the only piece of marble effect I've ever tried to achieve. So, in doing this tutorial, I spent a lot of time researching, just trying to figure this out. How to use our techniques here in our beat slab to create these effects. How to utilize the airbrush like we do. How to utilize washes like we do. And I think this is a pretty easy formula to follow. We're going to just keep reinforcing them now. And this is where we're going to start darkening some veins, not darkening other veins. Letting them be natural and organic. We're going to start introducing finer squigglies, as I like to call them, in between the bigger squiggles. We'll start introducing a little bit of that dark wood here in a bit. Create some of the brown streaks, the brown veins. And we're just getting more and finer, more squiggly, creating more layers of depth. And like I said, I'm treating it exactly how I would do lightning at this point. Only one major thing is missing. You know, we don't do those weird streaks when we do lightning. We just do fuzzes with the airbrush. There we go. Nice squiggles. Feeling it. Nice fork off of that. Getting a good look here, guys. Okay, here we go. Bringing some brown in. Feeling it. All right. It's getting kind of cluttered, so each stroke counts, guys. What are we going to do? Boom. We're going to bring in a couple of squigglies in the cut. There we go. And this is all the browns now. This is a little bit warmer of a gray. So we're getting an absolute mix of organic flavors here. Totally feeling it. Totally vibing it. You see, this is fun. There's nothing difficult about this. We didn't do anything that was hard. Same deal. We're going to add a few more last squiggles to the top handrail. Too easy. Marble. Not as happy with the handrail, admittedly, as I am with the stairs, but I was in a rush. I put all my love into those stairs. Here we go. Let's try to cut in a couple of slices up on the rise of the staircase, right above the landings. Just drop a couple quick little lines in there to help create a little bit of contrast. Now, Ixion Hale, my main man, he's probably going to cover most of this base up So this is gonna be a pretty fun base because any of the base you kind of see poking out underneath his robes, you're gonna notice that it's marble and you're gonna be like, damn, that's impressive, how'd you paint that? Well, we painted it all marble and then we glued a guy on top. That's how. Here's that brain matter beige yet again for one last spritz to soften up the lines one last time. A very thin glaze of brain matter beige over the top to give us a nice fuzz, to push some of those lines into the background, reinforcing some of the other ones. And this is, like I said, I borrowed this from the Canvas Painter's playbook for painting marble. And I tried to apply it to miniatures with our airbrush, of course, because that's what we do. All right, now let's take a look at the base with its rim painted in its final form. There it is. Looks like marble. Now, of course, we have to take this base to the next level. That's the basic shit. So definitely find us on Twitch. We're going to be finishing up this guy right here, Ixion Hale, taking him to the final stage and putting him back on that base with a little bit more weathering. All day, every day, guys. Play on, players.